Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about one of those experiments that we like to do. And before we get to this one, Jose, this reminds me of the talk of Steven Anderson about doing the embedding Blazor pretty much everywhere. Like if you see, he has an example of embedding Blazor in WordPress. There is also an example of embedding Blazor in WebAssembly. And right here, we're trying to use Blazor WebAssembly inside XAF web and how they communicate to each other. So it's a really nice concept because if you think about it, it would be say using Blazor everywhere, WinForms, WPF, WebForms, WordPress, everywhere. But anyway, to the video right here, we're going to discuss a solution that we're building about how from a web application, a SaaS web application, we're going to be able to open a Blazor WebAssembly application, install it as a PWA, and communicate with the server. So, Jose, do you want to show more details about the code?
Yeah. So, okay, let's start with the first idea is that sometimes it's kind of difficult to modify your code base. You want to not touch whatever you have. And so this is the way to have a separate application and make the communication, and also is a solution for that avoid the usage of something like Windows Forms that can be more complicated to install in a local computer. So the idea is like this: we have this is a normal SAF application, it's a SAF WebForms application, and this one here that is highlighted is a WebAssembly application. So the idea here is that this web application needs a little bit of an offline client, and it's just a small part of the application. So that's why we decided on this design. So the idea here is that the SAF application will work as a backend, and this is a client that can be online or totally offline. So let's run both here. And then I will talk a little bit about the structure of the project. It was, to be honest,
this is excited.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, it's excited because it's this type of experiments that you mix two different things, and also that it reminds me of WebForms, which we were using not a long time ago. Actually, we have a lot of customers that use that, I mean, WebForms. But after spending so much time in Blazor, you stop thinking that, okay, WebForms exist. So, okay, here to put it side by side. This is the Blazor application, the
web
WebForms application, and then the Blazor application on this side. For this one, I use the template that comes with Developer Express. They let you choose server-side or WebAssembly. So I selected WebAssembly. So the idea here is that in SAF application, you have like a few lists, like you can call them master catalogs as you want. I mean, depending on your language, we'll name it differently. Those tables with name and description and name on code or things like that. And then you have this other application, which in the end is the client. So the idea is like this. Well, in here, the action is, it should have this caption, but if you click this action, it will basically open in a separate window the WebAssembly application. And here I'm running both at the same time, but you don't need to do that in general. Once it's deployed, it's not going to be like this. So when you click this, you open the application. And there is something like, if you can see here, this is a hash. Basically, it's a string base 64. So the data that we need to pass to this application, we pass it through the URL. Of course, there is a limit of 2 megabytes, but 2 megabytes of simple information is a lot of information. Yes. So, so now that we have this, we can go here. We can go to the clock in. That this application is for clock in, and we can create a new record. All of this is standard Blazor behavior from Developer Express components. The grid has this amazing functionality that lets you show a pop-up window with the form. So you write something here, you select the rates, and so on and so forth. Then you save. Then you have this recording here. And right now, both applications are online, but this one actually can be offline. You can see this little icon in here. That's the beauty of the progressive web apps, that you can use them as desktop apps. And the beauty thinking about that is you can use it in your phone. You can use it in a tablet. You can use it in a Windows computer, in a Linux computer. So it's really independent of the OS. So if you do this, it will tell you that you want to install this application if you want to do it. So
yeah, and the look and feel is like it feels like a desktop application. You have a taskbar, you have an icon, so you can use it there. And we are saving to local storage, so it's completely offline.
Yeah. So here you have the WebAssembly version running in the browser, and this is after you install it. You have here on the desktop, and as you said, like everything works like a desktop application. The icon is here. So if I hit sync, it will, for that I will need a breakpoint because my studio is not behaving well today. So I have a web service here. And let me put a breakpoint in here. And it might not hit the breakpoint, but let's see. If let me put the breakpoint in the hit, in the click. So it is stopping there, so we can see the data that is being sent. So let's go to pages, and here, and sync. See, is here. Oh, no, it's this one collapsed. Okay. So let's put a breakpoint here, and I will talk about this a little bit later. This is one of the trickiest part. So, but for that, I will close this one and I will continue with the one in the browser, which I don't remember which one of all of this is. I guess it's this one. Because the debugger is attached to a specific instance. That's why I need to actually run this one, not the desktop one. So if I hit sync, then it is stopping here. And if I go to the web service, here you can see the JSON string that I sent. So this is the data. So now in my web service, I can process that information and insert it into the database, update the records, or whatever I need to do. So this opens the bridge between WebForms application and something really modern like Blazor WebAssembly. So let's continue with this. Just a few tricky parts before we finish this idea is there are some caveats in WebAssembly, is that the HTTP client that you use in the WebAssembly application is only meant to connect to the local domain. So it means there are no cross-domain requests. And that was really tricky. It took me as much time as it took me to develop the application to figure out that. And the magic happens here. In here, instead of using the built-in HTTP client that can be injected in the components, I just create my own instance. And I create my own request, because if you need, these are the magic lines. So you can communicate with a web service that is in any other address or domain. If not, you're stuck with the one in your own domain and port. So this is one of the trickiest part. And the second trickiest part, and it's not tricky, but you kind of forget about that after not doing WebForms for a while, is that in the web configuration, you need to enable the methods. Let's see, where are those methods in here? Here. So if you don't enable this, you won't be able to execute them from another HTTP client. So this is a must. Without this, it will not work at all. So today I had to Google a lot of information about this. Funny as it is, a lot of the information that I use, I wrote it myself a few years ago. So it's like those little notes that you make for yourself for the future. And the other part is is this one, is that XAF use the standard mechanism of authentication for all the possible pages and routes inside the URL. So in here, you need to tell them these URLs are not protected by the XAF security system. So if you hit this, you will be able to actually see it, because allowed user is asterisk. If you have question mark, it will require the authentication of XAF to go to that URL. So these are the two parts of that, three parts actually. So it's to allow the methods, to allow this location that is not authorized, and to use your own HTTP client. And after that, you can have the combination that whatever you want. I mean, you can do whatever you want in the application of WebAssembly. And there's another neat part, but for this we need to deploy it, but I will show the idea anyway, is that in here I created this folder clock. So I will publish this Blazor WebAssembly application to this folder. So when I deploy my WebForms application, everything will go in there. It will be just like, another folder in a separate application running in a folder inside of your WebForms application. So in the end, the trick is really neat. I'm super excited about this. It's like I woke up today, make coffee, and work on this nonstop, because when you have this idea that you want to try, it's like you want to see it complete, right? So I guess that's everything for my side. Javier, any question?
No, that's all. I think that is a pretty neat implementation, and we'll probably give an update when we have a finished product with this.
Yeah, I guess we will have to set up, a real demo working in a server.
Exactly. Okay, guys, thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.
Bye.